Hello, my friend. This is Yizhao Martins, licensed marriage and family therapist, couple therapist. How are you? Today is the 15th day of the Lunar New Year. We celebrate by eating really sweet, sticky rice dumplings. Did you get any? So today is also full moon, so watch out for the strong, powerful energy. Do you love having difficult conversations? Yeah, maybe there's a part of you like that, and the other part saying, no, I don't like that. Well, we'll continue with the conversation on how to have those conversations. So last week we talked about how to evoke your energy by thinking about if you want to stay in this relationship and how and what kind of partner you would like to be in this relationship to really free up the energy that's been held by fear and anxiety so you can channel that energy towards your relationship goal. I also talked about thinking about your intentions, right? What is the purpose of the conversation and how to structure in a way that is ADHD friendly. Today, let's get into the logistics. So, many of you may know this that besides my title of being a couple therapist, I'm also a mediator. So I do co-parenting mediation. I used to work for the court here in Alameda County. Then I have my private practice that I do private clients, mediation clients, to talk about co-parenting issues, so come up with plans. So I'm very comfortable and experienced to facilitate difficult conversations for people. And if you ask me this $1 billion question, what is the key element to the success of having difficult conversations? Here it comes. The answer to the $1 billion question is regulating your nervous system. What does that mean? All right. So think about a past conversation that you had with your ADHD partner or with anybody, seriously, that you felt this is difficult, really challenging, right? I'm sorry. If you go back to that moment and let me know, just don't dive into how frustrating, angry, uncomfortable you are, but just have a little taste of that. It was uncomfortable, right? And what made it uncomfortable for you? Was it because you feel, say, flushed, that you feel heat, you feel hands are like slimy palms and or cold, that you feel tightness in your chest, you're doing this, really protecting yourself, or is that your partner doing that, or there's a part of you that perceive your partner is getting upset with you or may be upset at you if you really tell them how you think and feel and what you want, that you're afraid they're not going to reject you, that you will not be a fitting partner for them, something bad is going to happen, and then you feel either wanting to run away or you wanted to pursue a partner because they're running away. So yeah, I know. That's what makes the conversation challenging, right? Is the sensations in your body that's uncomfortable. Yes, so that's why people keep avoiding that and not to talk about those issues. Don't bring them up until the pressure start to, build up and percolate and erupt. And that's getting really, really uncomfortable. So if you have a pressure cooker, let it steam out regularly from time to time so it doesn't build up into an explosion. So how do you regulate nervous system? There are many, many ways. Let's actually talk about having difficult conversations with your ADHD partner. As I know, you probably know this. Sometimes partners with ADHD may have some traits that make the conversation even more difficult or perceived as difficult. Say if they have emotional regulation challenges, impulsivity, or RSD, rejection sensitivity, then you may be even more careful, like tiptoe around and the conversation and try not to say anything that upset them, that trigger them, or being perceived that you are as judgmental or critical, right? So before the conversation, you're already working yourself up. You're already feeling pretty anxious, that you're not relaxed. So the number one trick is to do some self-care before you have that conversation. Whatever is your jam, go to a spa, get a massage, take a walk in nature, or have a cup of tea, cuddle with your little pet, right? Take a bath. Whatever that you do right before the conversation or even days before the conversation to prepare for it. I always ask my mediation clients to get a massage or take a hike in nature before mediation or a day before mediation to get some good jujus in and to relax their nervous system, to self-regulate, to put them in a good place and get ready for mediation for the difficult conversations, right? So that apply to you. And if your partner with ADHD can do that, that's even better. Both of you to do that. So if you set up a time to do that conversation, which is convenient for both of you and not pressured before and after, if it is an important conversation. So you may also do some of those co-regulation be with them, actually, by sitting down, putting a candle, if that's your jam, holding hands and having some tea or yummy food that both of you enjoy, or bring up some memories that you both like really appreciate, like a sweet, nice memory for the two of you to feel more relaxed in that place. And the second tip that I have for you is during the conversation, how do you regulate yourself? Are you familiar with breathing exercises, like the 1 to 4 part of breath? Are you familiar with grounding exercise, which is really easy? We do it here sometimes, right? To press your foot into the floor and to sit in the chair and lean against the back of the seat so you feel fully supported. You're now here floating around. We have gravity, right? No matter where you're sitting or standing, you always have something underneath you, right? Underneath your feet, underneath your butt, or behind your back. You're not up in the air unless you decide to cover the conversation while you're flying. That could be fun, actually. So feel the support of the earth. And if you're familiar with any meditation exercise, you can imagine you have a grounding cord dropping from your first chakra down into the earth, center of the earth, and make it really wide as your body or the chair to really feel solid. I'm doing that right now. If you're doing that with me, do you notice a difference? There could be also other techniques, somatic techniques, interventions. Scanning, for example. I often ask my clients, can you look for something red in your room right now? Or actually ask them anything that's green. And focus on that color. What kind of green is that? What's the shade? What's the tone? What's the brightness, right? And how do you feel when you see that green? And then look for another thing that's green, right? Notice that color, the shade, hue that's different from the other green. How do you feel towards that green? If you look at my painting, or actually that's my pandemic puzzle, you will see different kind of shades of green. Notice the green, just really immerse in the green. And how do you feel when you look at green color? Another thing that you can do is I often have a pot of flower here in front of my table, my work table. I sometimes look to my left because that's where my camera is when I work on the iPad. And then I look at this flower, beautiful flower. And then I rest my eyes on for it for a little bit and then come back to my clients. That's also very grounding for me. Other people also have the habit of holding something. If like a gemstone or crystal, it's your thing, you can hold that into your hand and ground you when you are talking to someone, or some pillow, something that's really soft, even like clothing that's like cashmere or silk or cotton, anything that's soft and cuddly that you feel when you touch yourself, like your arm, that you feel comforted. Anything that can regulate your nervous system, down-regulate, will be very, very helpful. Number 3, take breaks. Please take breaks. Many breaks, as many as you need to. Whenever you feel your nervous system is getting up there, if this is your threshold, you're hitting here, you want to take breaks. You can say, hey, I need a bathroom break, or I would like to get some water or tea, and I'll come back right after. Just stand up, walk away, get something to drink, and come back. That motion, that movement will help you to snap out of that state of fight or flight, which is to go away, and actually activate your body to do that. And that's being said, further down the number 4, I said set a really good structure for your conversation, right? So you want to have steps. At the beginning, I often say, here's what I want to talk about, a topic. Look at our time together. See, if I have 30 minutes, I will talk about 1, 2, 3. Don't have more than 3 things on your agenda. It's too much. I always want to leave some time in the end, like 5 minutes for both of us to reflect on what we talked about and identify the next steps. And at the beginning, I always say, is there anything you want to add to what I proposed? Because there are two people in the relationship, in the conversation. Even with my clients, I always ask, here's what I'm thinking for today, for the time we have. What about you and anything you want to add to the agenda? To show respect. This is our time. Even though in that relationship context, I'm the authority, I'm the leader, I care about you. I want you to give input. I want you to feel that this time is for you, that you're making good use of our time together. Same for you when you talk to your partner, you are like equal relationship. If that's what you want, right? You want to give the other person input as for what would you like to talk about in this? And then give them opportunity to shift topic. When they say, I had enough of this conversation, can we switch to the next one? Let's just bookmark this. That's all good, right? So don't ever push the other person when they are done with the conversation. It's not very productive anymore. And also the last one is to accept whatever happens in the realm of the conversation, wherever you come to. Use the last 5 minutes to summarize. Always appreciate the other person for taking the time to listen, to inquire with you, to have this challenging conversation, to co-regulate, right? And so you come up with whatever you achieved, document them in your head and spell it out and saying, hey, I'm really happy that we had this conversation. I found it very rewarding and productive. Here are the things I learned from you and our conversation. I know we didn't resolve the whole problem maybe, but I like to put it in a box and let's schedule another time to continue with this conversation because I want to connect with you. So now you probably already know the goal of the conversation is what? Connection, right? And intimacy. Yes, you want to solve a problem, but do you care more about the outcome or you do care more about the connection, right? If you care more about the outcome, then you are pushing an agenda on the other person. Then you want to reflect on yourself. Am I open enough to have a two-way conversation where I'm just trying to persuade the other person to push my agenda on them, which is a sell? There's nothing wrong with that. In certain contexts, that's the goal, is to sell something, your concept, your idea, your solution. But what do you think about this conversation, what you're trying to achieve, and what do you think about the person you're talking to, like your partner with ADHD in this situation? Do you trying to be one up and sell them something and put them down, or you're trying to be on the same wavelength with them and to connect, and so you feel closer to them? Say for your relationship. Right, that's for this week today. Let me know down below what you think of that and if you have any ideas and you want to explore with me. Otherwise, I will start something new next week. Okay, see you next week. Bye for now.